you ever been absolutely overwhelmed by an emotion such as frustration, impatience, or anger? Is it something that you literally cannot manage and you can feel the energy bubbling up sometimes that you have to just leave the room or walk away? Have you ever tried to use your energy and your breath to dilute and transmute these intense, heavy energies? If not, or if so, this is the episode for you. Hi guys! Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Sarah, and you're so very welcome here to my channel, my podcast. If you're listening, I'm a quantum healing guide, a mindfulness guide, a life coach, and a teacher. And this is part 2 of finding calmness and harmony regardless of our surroundings or world events. Last week was part 1. If you haven't listened to part 1, I highly recommend that you do. You can find it just behind this one. So today's part 2 is based on finding calmness and harmony in relation to heavy emotions. And it's something that I've tried, tested, and proved plenty of times, and it works. And of course, it's related to our breath, because our breath is our power. I feel like a parrot saying this, because all I do is say, our breath is our power, and it is. So, imagine this, and I'm sure we can all relate to this. We're in a situation, we're in somebody's company, and something has sparked off a massive, intense trigger. We've been triggered like there's no tomorrow. And we have this like emotion coming up. And my tip and trick to help this situation is to be the observer firstly. I'm going to give you an example of just say frustration, impatience / anger. You're in somebody's company and you're tired, you're a little bit stressed, and then somebody in your company has started to do something that's really annoying, and you can feel this frustration and impatience starting to bubble up. And it's hard to not snap in this situation or become fiery. It's just really, really hard. So what I recommend is to sit where you are, be the observer. Know that we aren't our emotions. This is a wave of emotion coming through us for all different kinds of reasons. But the way to diffuse this and transmute this emotion is to imagine ourselves connected to the earth. We can be sitting on the grass, imagining sitting on the grass. We can be sitting on the beach. We can imagine a cord coming out from the bottom of our spine straight into the earth. Okay. Now breathe in the rejuvenating healing energy from the earth up through our body, all the way up to the top of your head. And imagine the energy, when it gets to the top of your head, when you breathe out, you feel the emotion. Breathing out, now converting back to beneficial energy. Always intend the energy that you're releasing to be converted back to beneficial energy. So the people around you and you're in that area, don't pick it up. It's important. So breathe in. Now this, you need to do about 20 breaths. 7 is a good start. But then the more you do it, the more you diffuse that energy. So you breathe in all the way up to the top of your head. Feel your belly inflating. Hold there for a few seconds. And then feel the energy leaving your body, transmuting back to beneficial energy. Breathe out all the way and hold for a few seconds. We need to hold there so that our lung capacity is at its maximum and our body is fully oxygenated, so that we can really diffuse and transmute that heavy energy that's passing through us, literally. So we take in another deep and slow breath, the energy coming up through the earth all the way to the top of your head. Feel it circulating around there. Wait for a few seconds and then allow it to release. Breathe out all the way and hold on the out breath when you get to the end. Then, if you want to intend to breathe in peace, harmony, calmness, patience, the ability to cope, it's your choice. Breathe it all the way in. Hold for a sec and then breathe out slowly, deeply, allowing that heavy energy to release and let go. Remember to transmute it back to light. Breathe in again, slowly, deeply, and filling your whole body with calmness, patience, the ability to cope, peace and harmony, and then allow it to breathe out. Even by the time you get to the 4th breath, you're going to be calmer. You're going to feel more patient. But try and get to 20 if you can. Or however many breaths it takes. Maybe it only takes 5 breaths for you to diffuse that energy in order to adopt that calmness, that harmonious state of being that we all wish to be in. But sometimes it's not easy. And sometimes if we're in a meeting or we're having a debate or a negotiation or an argument and we're at the height of it, we're in the height of it, it's so hard to take a step back because that trigger really makes us want to retaliate, to fight back, to respond and react. So my biggest advice there is to stop, feel the emotion, the fire, breathe, allow yourself to take a few breaths before you respond, before you react. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave the room. You just have to sit there and breathe. Breathe in with the intention of diffusing, releasing and letting go. Now that tool has worked wonders for me, and I know it will for you. Heavy emotions are absolutely normal. They're absolutely normal. We're humans and we're here to feel these emotions. So let's remember to not be judgmental of ourselves when we're getting that overwhelming anger. In fact, it's probably healthy because it's highlighting something that we have an opportunity to heal. If it's an anger that keeps coming up, or if it's a frustration that keeps coming up, we have an opportunity to look inwards and ask ourselves, what is that? What is going on there? What is it that I need to address? Because the situations and the people and the places and the frustrations that we come across reflect shadows or healings or wounds or traumas that might start to bubble up or that could spark off just randomly. And we have that opportunity to go inwards and see what it is that needs to be released and let go of. And instead of us kind of getting down on ourselves or kind of being angry with ourselves or beating ourselves up, let's try and be grateful that we have had the ability to observe the situation with compassion and self-care and self-love, and to know that we're human, we're in this experience together, and every single person in our life who triggers us are there for a reason. They're our mirrors. They're there to help us heal, to reflect on something that we might need to let go of. So I'll never forget when that realization just dropped, like the heaviest penny that's ever dropped in my life. That every single person that's in our life that trigger us are supposed to be there. They're supposed to be there. And they're our healing catalysts. They're the ones that we can either completely block out of our life, and that's absolutely understandable. Remember, no judgment. There's no beating ourselves up. But then, if we have the time, the patience, the willingness, and the desire to allow those people to help us and guide us to discover our triggers and dig deep and to heal those triggers and let them go. Because these triggers could have been there for lifetimes. They could have been something that has come down from our ancestral line that keeps popping up generation after generation, and we now have the opportunity to stop it right there, to heal it, to let it go, so that future generations won't have to, or our circles. We don't necessarily have to have children for generational characteristics or traits or reoccurring wounds to be passed on, because we're all in the same soup. We're all part of the same energy. So remember to use that breathing technique, that diffusing, that energy diffusing breathing technique connected to the earth, and then fill yourself back up with light. Seal yourself into a protection bowl and thank yourself for being unapologetically you and a divine and sovereign, powerful being that you're supposed to be. Thank you so much for listening. I'm looking forward to recording part 3. Remember to like, subscribe and follow so that you won't miss out on any of the episodes, any of the parts of the series. And I'd love to know your comments. Please let me know if this has worked out for you, or if you have any other kind of techniques, or tips or tools or tricks, any tricks of the book. Please let me know so that we can work through this together. Co-create. Thank you guys. I'm so grateful for you. Sending so much love, light, peace, and harmony. Take care.